Hello. It's been a while. I have not been good with the pregnancy updates at all. Today I'm actually turning 24 weeks, so I think this is going to be an amalgamation of 2, maybe 3 weeks of updates, and we're having a baby girl. I am so glad that we found out. It feels so good and also so surreal. I think some part of me, having lost a baby girl, this is a very much like it's not easy for me to hold on to babies, and so pregnancy after loss is always difficult. But I think having lost a baby girl, I thought that maybe there was something in that, and that I wasn't able to have a baby girl. I do have my beautiful stepdaughter Jess, and that's just like, it feels such a beautiful hole in my heart. But I always wondered what a daughter of my own would look like whether would she take parts of me? Like, yeah, I feel like honestly we should all have 10 babies just to see how genetics play out, because it's so interesting. But we are like, this has literally been my outfit at the moment. Incoming like pregnancy, dressing for pregnancy video. But this, my necklace doing something funny, has just been my go-to. A nice pair of stretchy bottoms with a cute little top. I feel like my bump doesn't look as big in camera, but I am feeling like properly pregnant now, which is so exciting. And I'm definitely at that window where I feel like really good. I always describe it as that energy where I'm like, I want to like paint the house myself. Like, I feel like I can take on so much. That being said, I've been doing a lot of solo parenting, which is such beautiful timing because I'm not on call for any births, in my work until like for another 3 weeks. And so when Pete's been away with work experience, all sorts of cuts on me, been out in the garden, it's perfect timing, so he'll be home in time for me to go on call. But it's obviously been hard. Archer is still waking a lot at night time. Our kids typically don't start to sleep through until they hit apparently like close to 5 years old. Atticus now sleeps through, but only if he's in the bed with me. It's hard. And I think nourishing myself in that, and also, running a business has been really difficult. Perhaps I'll do a whole separate video on my plans for how I hope to take some maternity leave, and some like behind the scenes stuff. I don't know if that's going to be of interest at all, but yeah, I'm feeling really good. I've had like a smidge of reflux, which is a new symptom for me. It seems to be if I eat anything particularly acidic without like pairing it with some protein. But yeah, it seems to be like quite mild. Other than that, my bump is just growing. I'm trying to move my body as much as I can. I'm sort of fallen off the like going to bed early train, which I need to get back onto. And actually I find easier when Pete's gone, because I don't have that temptation of wanting to stay up for like grown-up time. So next week I'm going to be more on that. Am I just coming out of my like food aversion stage? I don't know. It's taken me a really long time, and I mentioned before that like up until now, so up until the cusp of 24 weeks, so quite far into my pregnancy, I haven't been able to look at like pictures or videos or cooking books or anything that's related to meal prep. It's just like straight away I have to close it, and it could be the most delicious meal. But that's been really interesting. And this week I've been finding that like I can start doing that a little bit, because I typically do like meal prep for the week ahead. So that's been really funny. I've also really been enjoying like getting out into the garden. It's been really sunny, so I've just been like getting up in the morning and like bringing my cup of tea outside and letting the boys just play. We're doing a lot of like big garden things at the moment. A lot of it is in preparation for this new baby coming. If you haven't watched it already, I set the video to go live on Wednesday for the part 1 of my postpartum planning video, and I hope you'll find that really interesting. It's different than how I've done things before, and so I feel like that could be like an interesting video just in itself. I feel like I'm always drawn to those videos that are like what I'm doing differently this time, and there's so many things in that I am and that I've learned, like, okay, that didn't work before, here's what we're going to do this time round. So that's been fun. Previously I had mentioned that I've been having a little bit of like carpal tunnel, like numbness, tingling, waking up in the morning and just being like having dead hands. That I have found has been completely resolved with just like some upper body work, release, improving the mobility and flexibility of my upper body, primarily just like going up against the wall and releasing the pectoral there. That's been really, really nice. And sometimes I'll just like lie in bed and just like do that before I fall asleep. So I'll like catch hold of the bed frame on one side and then just like slowly rotate, and that feels really, really good. And then like that following morning I notice I don't have those symptoms. So that's been really interesting. I am going to do a whole video dedicated to carpal tunnel and how you can improve symptoms, resolve symptoms if you are experiencing them, because it's pretty grim. It's pretty grim. Luckily, my husband's also a strength and conditioning coach, and we also talked about it briefly in the Body Ready Method pro training that I just completed last month. So I had a couple of tricks in my toolkit. The other thing that I had mentioned, again, just briefly, was the fact that I've been experiencing some of that suprapubic discomfort. So literally along the symphysis pubis, that pubic bone, I can feel it like just like a tenderness, like an achiness there. And it's very normal it's very normal. It's not very normal. It's very common in pregnancy, but it's the first time that I had experienced it. And so I've been doing a couple of things with just making some lifestyle changes, some stress reduction, really looking at how I'm supporting myself this pregnancy, as well as how I'm supporting my body. So, you know, building up the strength in my glutes. How can I create that balance and strength and in my pelvis so that it can stay in the optimal position? And that's been really working. Like, instead of it getting worse as it ordinarily would do as pregnancy progresses and there's more weight on the pelvis, it's totally resolved. So that's been really wonderful. I really don't have any updates. It's hilarious. Baby is thriving. I now can see her like kicking on the outside, which is just so special and so cool. And it's also for me been so lovely to not just say like, oh, the baby or it or they. So that's been really special. We still have no name. I put up a post on my Instagram like asking for suggestions and that kind of thing, and there's a couple of really cute ones that have come in, but nothing yet has stuck. And I'm sure so many of you can agree with me on this, but guys are really hard to find a middle ground with. So they either like have like they like no name ever, or they're really like stuck on a name that they have picked out. So I could go through like a list of 200 names and people would just be like meh to every single one, or properly like no way. He's also particularly good, for those of you who don't know, he's from Northside Dublin, so he's got like a nice strong Northside Dublin accent, and I very much don't have that accent, but he will like ruin a name in an instant. So if there's a name that I kind of like but he doesn't like, he can tear it down and like make it into a name that's really easy for the kid to be bullied, or just sounds really gross if it's mispronounced. So it's always quite funny to me when you know, he does that so well that our kids have quite complex, unusual names. I also got a lot of questions asking like, okay, so both of your boys have A names. Is this girl also going to have an A name? And a lot of like really beautiful A name suggestions. That was an accident. hilarious accident, but we don't plan on sticking with an A name theme at all. Although there are some really beautiful A names that but as soon as they come up, Pete's like, no, we can't, because then we become like AAA window repair, which is not what we're going for. But certainly like nature inspired, mildly crunchy. I like kind of fantasy names, but also like vintagey names. I wonder, should I do like a baby names we're not using video? Would that be something you'd be interested in? Let me know down below. And I'm going to go and take my laundry in because it's been a beautiful, beautiful day, and I'm hoping that it's been drying outside. And I'll see you in the next update.